The crowd is going to be asked to stand for a minute of silence to pay tribute to the city officials here in San Francisco who were slain in that tragic event at the City Hall today. Both teams are at the edge of the field. On the scoreboard, it says very simply, the 49ers extend their deepest sympathy and regrets to the families of Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk. It says we all share in their sorrow over this tragic event. And now they're asking the crowd to observe a moment of silence. So the crowd now is standing. Silence observed in memory of the late mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, and the city supervisor, Harvey Milk. And now we're ready for football action at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And the Steelers will kick off to the 49ers.
How do you like the cuckoos in the crowd?
Oh,
they're observing a moment of silence, and they're, I don't know, a handful of voices out there at the top of their lungs shouting obscenities and whatnot during the moment of silence. But I guess there are proportionately more cuckoos in this town than elsewhere. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't want to say that, but Myron, if you didn't have them, you'd think the human race was suddenly becoming just too perfect.
Well,
it's just unbelievable.
That's terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely unbelievable, but here it is, particularly in San Francisco. You get that kind of reaction. Paul Holfer is going deep for the 49ers. So you sit here, you're a little bit embarrassed. Crowd of 40,000 or so silent, except for maybe a half dozen nuts who take the occasion to shout into the night air. And that's called freedom of speech. Roy Girella tees it up and will kick it off for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right to left is the way the kick will carry. Teed up at the Pittsburgh 35-yard line, and here comes Girella. And he kicks it well, high and long. Hofer at the 2, out over the 5, to the 10, swings right to the 15, the 20, the 25. And he is toppled and brought down at the 25-yard line by Ray Oldham, the new addition to the Pittsburgh Steeler defensive club and also the special teams.
And Hofer slipping by Jack the hydroplane, Delaplane, and Sidney the Thundering Bull Thornton. He went by them to get out to the 25-yard line. Unusual to have your starting halfback as your deep man running back kickoffs. That seems like a lot of work in store for him tonight. The Steelers could be kicking off a lot.
The quarterback is Scott Bull. Hofer and Farrell are the running backs. And they bring a man in short motion, and Bull drops back and fires down the middle, and it's intercepted, picked off at the 50-yard line. Ron Johnson skirting to the far side and brought down at the San Francisco 47-yard line. They had that man in motion, the wide man, and sent him downfield, and they were going for him, and there was Johnson to pick it off, and the Steelers get the first interception of the ball game on the first scrimmage play, and for the rookie, it is his third of the year.
He was throwing for Freddie Zalman over in the middle, but overthrew him by a great deal right to Ron Johnson.
Steelers get the ball at the 49er 47-yard line. Bradshaw hands it off to Harris, starts through the right, cuts back and goes to the 41-yard line. There's a bit of an answer to the situation as Ed Bradley, the former Steeler, is in on the defensive play at the 41-yard line and a gain of 6 yards for the Steelers. Reese, Webb, Gallagher, Hardman up front. Harris, Bunce, Bradley, the linebackers. Robertson, Lewis on the corners. Jury and Christ are the safeties. Steelers at the 41-yard line. It is second down and 4 yards to go. Stallworth to the left. Swan, the flanker, to the right side. The quarterback is Bradshaw, and again it's to Harris. Angles left, comes over the 40, breaks the tackle to 35, the 30 to the outside, the 25, and out of bounds on the near side of the field as the play is made by Bob Jury. John Stallworth threw a key block for Franco Harris as he brought the ball down from the 41-yard line to the San Francisco 25.
Oh, nice running by the Franco on 2 straight plays as he peeled to his left. He slipped around Chuck Christie, ex-Penn State basketball player, showed Chuck Christie his speed, and carried it down to the 25 for a first down.
Swan to the right and Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw calling the signals. Blyer and Harris are in the backfield. Bradshaw sets his club, gives the ball to Rocky Big Hole through the middle of the 20 to 15 and straight down to the 12-yard line. Rocky Blyer had the big hole up the middle, and again Jury figured on the defensive play as it picks up a first down, and Rocky goes to the 12.
Ooh, hard chance, though, put them back to fundamentals. Ed Gallagher, the defensive tackle, is playing right over Mike Webster's nose. Mike is blowing him out of there, and Rocky sweeping up the middle. You could have thrown a truck through it.
Now they've moved Jimmy Webb right over his nose now. They'll try something else. Bradshaw has them lined up on first down 10 at the San Francisco 12, and the give is to Harris, and he's in trouble this time. So they changed the defense just a little bit, and this time Webb was there along with Ed Bradley, the linebacker, and they made the play on Franco Harris at the 12-yard line. No gain on the play. Steve Corson is in that offensive line in place of Jerry Mullins. He's a first-year man from South Carolina. So a couple of youngsters on the right side in Corson and Penny, but Penny has picked up a lot of experience. Blyer steps into a close slot on the left side. And the give is to Franco, and he's tripped up as he slashes into the middle, goes down at the 11-yard line. They were ready and waiting, and again Jimmy Webb was there with Ed Gallagher. And Franco Harris goes down at the 11-yard line. And on comes an extra linebacker, Mark Nichols, for San Francisco to replace Ed Gallagher. And on this obvious passing situation, they'll go into the 33.
And that was just a nice play by Jimmy Webb, the 4-year man out of Mississippi State. Not a real big tackle, tall, 6'5", but only 234 on the list.
Pittsburgh sends Swan to the right, putting Stallworth in the slot. Swan will be picked up by Robertson. And a flag at the snap. We get a whistle down on the field, illegal procedure against the Steelers. And that will be a 5-yard mark-off from the 11 back to the 16-yard line.
And we've got no score early in the first period. The Steelers getting the football when Scott Poole's very first pass of the ball game was intercepted by Ron Johnson at midfield, and the Steelers took over the ball at the 49ers' 47. Moving it on the ground, they've now moved to the 16. That is the penalty taking them back to there.
Coach of the Steelers, Chuck Noll, looking out without a smile, pondering the situation. Slot man to the right side is Stallworth. Bradshaw backing up here. They come. He steps forward. They got him in the arm. They got him at the 25-yard line. Blitzing that time was Mark Nichols, the extra linebacker. And they came at Bradshaw and got him at the 25-yard line. And Jarrella will come on.
Archie Reese, a huge rookie, 260-some pounds, grabbed Bradshaw by the throwing arm. He might have gotten away otherwise, but he couldn't get that arm up and finally went down.
From the 32-yard line, Jarrella will give it a 42-yard attempt straight down the middle. Craig Colquitt is the holder. Ball is down. Jarrella kicks it long enough. High enough, it is good. Jarrella, a 42-yard field goal, and the Steelers take a 3-0 lead. We'll be right back.
So Roy Jarrella, who only the other day was saying, yes, he's having a bad season, and who was saying that something he wouldn't identify, it seems to be distracting him. I wonder if he's negotiating a new contract. But Roy Jarrella has come through here in the opening minutes with a good-sized field goal of 42 yards, and the Steelers lead the 49ers 3-0. And Ron Johnson's interception set it up.
Oprah's deep. Williams and Boykin are wide. Down deep for San Francisco. Here comes Jarrella, right to left. Very high. A little shorter than the last time. Hofer at the 5, to the 10, to the right, at the 15, the 20, driving to the 24-yard line. And Hofer again brought down by Ray Oldham, a young man who came from the Baltimore organization. He had been released over there. He had been down and had a tryout down south. Said to us the other day that he could not understand what was happening at Baltimore. It had been a team where everybody was for the club, and now it seemed to be more individuals. But he's happy to be a part of this organization in Pittsburgh.
He's a fiery guy. He makes the tackle. He runs off the field shaking his fist in the air. He's getting a big kick out of that play.
Got that great enthusiasm and Tennessee accent of your old friend Johnny Majors.
Oh.
Sounds a lot like him, but he talks. All right, here they come. Bull on the draw. Hands it off. They got a man moving with the football over the left side. The carrier, Paul Hoper. Lauren Taves in there, and Joe Green teaming up to make the stop at the 28.5-yard line, a gain of 3.5 yards. L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green, Steve Burness, and John Banaszak in the front four. Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, and Lauren Taves are the linebackers. Taves back in there tonight. Johnson and Blunt on the corners. Wagner and Shell are the safeties. San Francisco, second down, 6.5, moving left to right, trailing 3-0. Wideouts both ways. Scott Bull, the quarterback, third-year man from Arkansas, handing it off, and here they come again, a dive over the right side. Bob Farrell is the ball carrier. Across the 30 to the 31-yard line. And Farrell, the 3-year veteran from UCLA, racked up by Joe Green and Jack Lambert.
And a nice play by Jack Splat. He had a play off a block to get to the ball carrier. Incidentally, with John Banaszak in there at right defensive end, can you conclude that he is now the first-string right defensive end? Dwight White was held out of last week's game so he could get over some bumps and bruises, had a tender knee, but he is well-rested now, but Banaszak is in there as the starter.
Steve Knutson comes into the guard place to bring the play. They'll run out of the I formation. Quick pitch to the tailback and ripping over the right side. Here comes Hoper up over the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. Paul Hoper stopped by Jack Lambert and Mike Wagner. And the first down for San Francisco.
Well, I'll tell you that Paul Hoper, as Chaz Knoll said on his pregame show, does indeed run hard and slash. He ran over Mike Wagner that time, and Mike, prone on his back, looked up as if to say, "What hit me?"
They've just brought Mike Schumann, a rookie from Florida State, in. Ken McAfee is the tight end, and they send Ken Harrison wide to the left. So they're running with two ends. No, they put an extra back in the backfield. They've got two ends tight, and they bring their man in motion out of the backfield and hand it off for a straight-ahead drive, and that's Hoper up to the 40-yard line. They put Schumann in the tailback post in a full house tee and brought him in quick motion. Steve Burness and Jack Lambert stopped Hoper on the handout at the 40-yard line, and he picks up 2 yards. Second down and 8. Looking around, crowd building here at Candlestick, so a good turnout, fine weather. Freddie Solomon in short motion from wide right. Back goes Scott Bull, firing on the near side and going for Bob Farrell down near the Steeler 40-yard line. Overthrew him. Jack Ham over to cover with Ron Johnson. And the pass was impossible to catch as it came over the sideline. And Bull just laid it up on a sideline move by Freddie Solomon, who's the fourth-year wide receiver from Tampa.
And if you're wondering who Bob Farrell is, the guy who just was the intended receiver and is a starting running back, he once played for the California Sun. He was a second stringer at UCLA. In a moment, I'll tell you why, but let's get back to the action.
Burness out. Dennis Winston is fourth linebacker for the Steelers. San Francisco out of the I. The give to the top of the I. Here comes Hoper with a flag down off the left side. Nailed at the 40 and brought down. Lauren Taves reacted to the play to make the initial hit, aided by Jack Lambert on the stop at the 40-yard line. Leaned forward across the 40 to almost the 41-yard line. And we get the preliminary signal. Illegal motion against San Francisco will be declined by the Steelers. They're looking at 4th down and 7. And that will be punt formation as Mike Connell, a native of Sharon, Pennsylvania, a rookie from Cincinnati. He was a national finalist in the punt, pass, and kick competition. Stands at the 26-yard line of the 49ers. T. Bell and Jim Smith downfield. For the Steelers, the punt will carry left to right. Mike Connell standing at his own 26-yard line. Snap, and he gets it away. Rather wobbly. Under it goes Jim Smith, running to his left, and then nailed. cut it about the 23, gave a little ground to the 22, running to the left, and then tried to cut back in the opposite direction and found the 49ers ready and waiting as the stop was made by Bob Jury and Greg Boykin. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Well, as Jack Flemming has told you, Steve Corson has been in that Steeler offensive line. I guess they're resting Moon Mullins because he suffered a hyperextended elbow in the last game. The Steelers are leading the 49ers here 3-0 as they take over the football at their own 22.
Steelers moving right to left. Bradshaw, the quarterback, wideouts both ways. Harris and Blyer in the backfield, and the handoff goes to Blyer, hitting off the right side, and he comes up to the 25-yard line. Rocky Blyer, the ball carrier, the stop made by Joe Harris, the linebacker. They still go with Reese, Webb, Gallagher, and Hardman in the front four. Harris, Buns, Bradley, the linebackers, Robertson and Lewis on the corners. Jury and Christ are the safeties. It will be 2nd down 7.
Nice block by Sam Davis on the left tackle, but the play good for only the 3 yards.
Stallworth wide left, Swan set up to the right. Tight end is Randy Grossman in a strong right formation for the Steelers at their own 25, and here's Bradshaw going back. Bradshaw fires to the far side, and there is Swan at the 37-yard line, and he's thrown all the way back inside the 30, and they're going to call it the 33. Ruling apparently that he gave a little ground as he was attacked and brought down over there by Joe Harris, the linebacker, and Vern Robertson, the cornerback, coming up. Mark it at the 33 and a first down.
And so that is Bradshaw's first pass, and the completion gives Swan his first catch in 3 games. It's not as bad as it sounds. In other words, he got shut out last week. He hasn't caught one since 2 games ago, so this is his first catch in 3 games.
His 50th of the season.
One more, and he's at his all-time high, Jack.
He's right there. The give to Franco. Running left, cutting back to the right. Coming over the 35 and up to the 40-yard line. Harris made that slick move as he headed left, cut back to the right, and ran into the arms of Archie Reese, the big rookie from Clemson, the defensive end. They will mark the ball at the 39-yard line and give Franco a gain of 5.5 yards. 2nd down, 4.5 to go. Steelers come out of the huddle. They lead 3-0. First quarter of the ball game. Clock turning 6:45 to play in this period at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Terry Bradshaw to Blyer. Blyer finds the opening just off the left side, swings right over the 45, and comes up to the 47.5-yard line. Bob Jury down at the bottom of the play with Joe Harris for the 49ers. And the officials spotted back to the 47. That will be the 4th first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the ball carrier was Blyer.
And do you suppose Noel is giving us the answer to that question we discussed before the game? He's saying, I'm going to run the ball and get the running game going.
But he said to himself, those 2 boobs up there are wondering whether we're going to run it or throw it.
Yeah.
First down 10, the give to Blyer, and he is hit, actually diving over a big pileup as the Steelers had managed to get Jimmy Webb down on the turf, and Blyer found himself at a roadblock and just simply dived over them to the 49-yard line. He'll pick up 2 yards on the play. And on comes Mark Nichols as an extra linebacker for the 49ers.
And on 2nd and 8 here, Candle and Bradshaw resist the delicacies of that San Francisco secondary. I think not.
Jimmy Webb comes out, and they go into a 3-down lineman defense, pulling backers up on each side, and then stunning with another backer, and the pitch out to the right side. And Harris with the ball gets a block from Blyer, then goes outside and is caught and brought down. Harris cornered by Joe Harris and Ed Bradley at the San Francisco 49.5-yard line. Short gain, 3rd down, and a short 7 to go. And that name, Ed Bradley, brings back memory.
You betcha. And Chaz did resist the delicacies of the secondary, did he not? He ran the football.
Correct me on the histories. Bradley went to Seattle in the expansion and then was traded down to San Francisco.
Exactly.
Good linebacker from Wake Forest. It is 3rd down, 6.5 yards to go, just over midfield in San Francisco territory. Bradshaw's back, and here they all come. Bradshaw fires it down the field and is picked off at the 35, the 40, up over the 45, the 50, and out of bounds at the far side. Chuck Christ. He was going for Randy Grossman, the tight end. Slightly underthrown, and Christ came around Grossman and picked it off, brought it back over midfield, and to the far side, was chased out of bounds around the Steeler 41-yard line. An interception. We'll be right back.
Gotta meet the morning train. Gotta rush to catch my plane. Gotta drop this package off, but first I gotta stop at golf. People have time to beat up, more than a million a day. She said like
So Chuck Christie, ex-Penn Stater, gets his 5th interception of the season. He was not covering Grossman downfield, going downfield. He was simply back there playing center field and playing the interception as another man covered Grossman. He picks it off. It is Bradshaw's 8th interception in 3 ball games. So, let's hope that it does not get to Terry and undermine his confidence here.
Gary Dunn replacing Steve Furness in the defensive line. San Francisco running out of the eye with Paul Hofer at the top of the eye, and a pitch goes to Hofer. Here he comes with blockers over the right side of the 40 and down to the 35-yard line. Down at the bottom of the play, Wagner, along with Gary Dunn, picks up about 6 yards on the carry. Over the right side of the line, they have Steve Knutson playing at left guard. Ayers, Knutson, Quillen, Downing, and Fonhorst, the interior linemen. Ken McAfee, the tight end. Harrison and Solomon are the wide receivers. Harrison goes to the left, and Solomon is in a wide slot to the left side. Running backs, Hofer and Farrell. Quarterback is Scott Bull. Here's Bull handing it off and running to the right, and nailed is Bob Farrell. Jack Ham had him. He was struggling. So the ball is parked at the 35.5-yard line. We'll be back after this pause on the Steelers Football Network.
WVAM-FM Altoona, Country FM 100, your exclusive Steeler football station.
Ken McAfee, the Notre Damer, the 49ers' big draft choice. The tight end is down on the field. He had gotten up, Lou Craig tells me, was limping and then collapsed. And he, of course, was some kind of ball player at Notre Dame. He was the 7th player selected in a draft. He's a dental student. They tell me he's a pianist, he's an artist, he's a very accomplished photographer. He says art keeps the fingers loose and agile, helps you catch passes. He's caught 22 this year and done pretty well for a rookie. Now they've got him up. They've got Ken McAfee up, and they're helping him off the field. He's limping badly. The Steelers leading 3-0. The 49ers threatening, still in the first period.
Replay shows he was down, and in the other action, 2 or 3 players came over, and Gary Dunn fell on his leg when he was down. All right, Paul Seal replaces McAfee. Strong left formation. Out of the eye. Play action fake. Bull is back there, almost caught, that he has time. Throws down to the 27. The pass pulled in by Seal. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Firing through there, you thought they were going to get Bull, but they didn't. And he hit Paul Seal, and Donnie Shell made the stop at the Steeler 23-yard line.
Well, the Steelers had Jack Ham blitzing from the left side, but he was picked up by a blocker, and then Seal came across to that left side and took the pass without anybody on him. Shell coming over to chase him out.
San Francisco ready to go. First down, 10 in Steeler territory. Pittsburgh leading 3-0. Bull hands it off. Here comes Hofer. And he meets a stone wall. He'd get a yard or two. Stopped shy of the 20-yard line with Jack Lambert right in the middle to make the defensive play for the Steelers. Mark the ball at the 21-yard line. Gain of a yard and a half. Second down. 8.5 yards to go for the 49ers. Freddie Solomon comes off. Harrison is wide to the left. Mike Schumann is wide to the right. Scott Bull hands it off, and ripping off the left side, Bob Farrell drives inside the 20, goes down inside the 16-yard line with Jack Lambert making the tackle. As the 49ers offensive line rips into that Steeler defense and opens up the holes for a couple of running backs unheard of who look extremely good tonight. Hofer and Farrell. It will be 3rd down and 3.
Well, Farrell banged off Joe Green, who came up to meet him. He just banged off Joe, and picked up a little yardage.
They move left to right. We're very late in the first quarter. Scott Ball gives the ball to Hofer, and he drives through like a bullet inside the 15 to the 14, the 13 and a half. He is shy of a first down. Joe Green, John Benizak, and Jack Lambert stop the play. Now decision time for the 49ers. Will they bring on Ray Wershing to kick the field goal? They need about a yard, and Wershing is coming on, and the crowd is booing. But everything in the book says, get the 3 and tie it up.
Jack, would you say the crowd is Wershing? He'd go for it?
Yeah, they would like very much for him to do that. Scott Ball, the holder at the 21-yard line. Wershing a 31-yard attempt at the goalpost to our right. The ball is down. Wershing kicks it. And it is no good. He hooks it off to the left side. And Pittsburgh will take over the football.
Well, there was a high snap on that play, and that may have thrown Wershing off his mark. That can do it. So the Steelers get a break there, and they get the ball at their 20-yard line. They lead the 49ers 3-0. We've got a minute and 21 seconds remaining in the first period. If you're wondering about those two backs running that football rather nicely for San Francisco tonight, I told you that Bob Farrell was a second stringer at UCLA, but that's because he played behind a couple of pretty good ones, namely James McAllister. Remember him? Flopto later with the Philly Eagles did. McAllister also played behind Kermit Johnson. He went into pro football in the World Football League with the Southern California Sun, and then was signed as a free agent by these 49ers. The other gent, Paul Hofer, he is an 11th round draft pick who came up from Mississippi, and this is his third year. Now, the reason, of course, that you've got Farrell and Hofer in there is because you've got O.J. Simpson out with a shoulder separation, and Wilbur Jackson was hurt earlier in the season, and I believe is out for the year. So those were their two well-known running backs, Simpson and Wilbur Jackson. Of course, Delvin Williams went to Miami in a trade and has proved to be sensational for the Miami Dolphins. But it's Hofer and Farrell, and looking kind of good tonight. Hofer with 104 yards last week against the Los Angeles Rams. The Steelers now with the ball, they're going for the win tonight that'll put them in the playoffs at least as a wild card team.
Johnny Stallworth is in the slot to the right side. Bradshaw is looking for Swan, and he finds him on the far side of the field at the 34-yard line, right at the side of the field. Immediately over there is Eddie Lewis, but too late, and Lynn Swan has picked up a first down on the reception from Terry Bradshaw. For Swan, his 51st catch of the year.
That's a career high for Lynn Swan, the most he's ever caught in one season. He, however, has fallen pretty well behind Seattle. Steve Largent is in the race for the wide receiver pass-catching championship. It's 57-41 with Largent in the lead right now.
Bradshaw brings them up to the line of scrimmage at the 34-yard line. He was going to hand it off. It looks like a broken play, and he gallops for the sideline, swinging to the right, goes out of bounds at the 35. Looked as though he wanted to hand it off, and nobody was there. Franco Harris would have been the intended receiver of the handoff. So Bradshaw just took off with the 49ers in pursuit and galloped out of bounds on the far side of the field at the 35, picked up a yard on the carry. Second down and 9. In San Francisco, where the temperature is moderate in the 50s tonight. Myron, I flew out of Pittsburgh this morning, and it looked like Alaska for the first time this year.
It snowed, did it not?
But it was raining later today.
Uh-huh.
It snowed.
Wipe it away before I get home.
Strong right formation. Bradshaw is the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He goes straight back. Swing pass right side. Franco over the 35, the 40. He's running. He's to the 45 and goes down at the 46. Jimmy Webb made the tackle for the 49ers, and Harris has a first down as they hit him in the right flat area, and he carried to the 46-yard line.
And you had Steve Corson, who, as we told you, was in that offensive line tonight for Moon Mullen, taking the linebacker, Joe Harris, out of the play on the far side to enable the swing pass to cut up inside and make the yardage out to the 46-yard line, or make it the 47.
Clock turning with 36 seconds to play in the first quarter. First down 10. Bradshaw sets the Steelers. And the give is to Blyer. Flag down as Blyer rips just off the right side over the 50 to the San Francisco 48. And it looks like we got a call against the Steelers. Holding. And that one will hurt.
You know, Franco's got something in the works here tonight. He needs 69 yards to pass Larry Zonka and become the number 6 ranking man on the all-time National Football League ground gaining list, rushing list, if you will. So far in 6 carries, he's got 31 yards, so he's almost halfway to those 69 yards that he needs.
10-yard mark off back to the 36, first down and 20 yards to go for the Steelers. Flyers in the close slot on the left side. Wideouts both ways with Franco the single setback, and on a draw to give to Franco, swings left. He's cornered, stiff arms the tackler, comes to 40 and is knocked out of bounds. It was Ed Bradley trying to get Franco Harris, and he stiff-armed him, and then finally the secondary and the linebackers reacted and overcame Dan Bunz along with Eddie Lewis, the cornerback, and chased him out at the 40. A gain of 4 yards.
The 49ers very frequently tonight are in what you might call a nose guard defense with the tackle right over Mike Webster's nose there, center Mike Webster, and big gaps to either side of him. So if Webster blows him out, you have a good chance of shooting through there, which the Steelers have done from time to time.
Stallworth left, Swan right. Blyer and Harris in the backfield. Here's a quick screen throw out to the right side. To Swan, takes it. He's over the 40 to 43. Breaks loose, goes to 45, and then is thrown back solidly. Swan on a flanker screen to the right side. Got to the 45-yard line, and then he was belted solidly by the linebacker, Dan Bunz. And back he came. Mark it at the 45. That's the end of the first quarter with a score. Pittsburgh 3, San Francisco 0.
So as we begin the second quarter, the Steelers are 3rd and 11 at their own 45-yard line and leading the 49ers 3-0. The Steelers threw with some frequency in the first quarter. They actually threw 5 times, Bradshaw did, and completed 4 and threw 1 interception, but most of those passes were little bitty passes. And again, we were talking before about the weakness in the San Francisco secondary, but I would suppose you could say that for the most part in that first quarter, the Steelers nonetheless decided to get their ground game going and tune it up for Houston to get it back in stride. Franco in with 35 yards unofficially, and Rocky with 26. Rocky carrying the ball 4 times for those 26 yards, a nice average of better than 4 yards a carry, and Franco averaging a neat 5 yards a carry.
Flemming and Cope at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Wide set in the backfield. Maximum protection for Bradshaw. He has time, and he fires, and over on the far side, curling to the outside. Stallworth takes it at the 39-yard line for a first down. Johnny Stallworth curling to the outside, getting away from Eddie Lewis, the cornerback, and he picks it off. That is the 8th first down of the night for the Steelers. They have completed 5 out of 6 passes, 1 interception, and Stallworth gets his first catch of the night. Johnny Stallworth has now caught 33 passes, came in with 5 touchdown catches, and is now in with better than 630 yards on the season. First down 10. Bradshaw back to throw again, right down the middle. There's Randy at the 30, and he fights his way to the 26. Randy Grossman caught it straight down the middle, and he was brought down by Dan Bunz, the middle linebacker, right at the bottom of the play at the 26-yard line. Another first down.
Oh, Randy was wide open. He just ran down there, stopped, said, "Here I am, throw it to me, Terry," and Terry did indeed, and so the Steelers are at the 26-yard line.
Grossman getting his 29th catch of the season. Stallworth to the left, to the far side. Blyer in the close slot on the near side. Swan wide right. Franco, the single setback to give to Franco, and he plows a little bit off the left side. Goes to the 18, maybe the 17 down under the pileup. San Francisco will give him either 3 or 4 yards on the play. And as they pick themselves up, the linebacker is down at the bottom, Ed Bradley. Mark it at the 22.5-yard line. A gain of 3 yards, second down and 7.
There really wasn't much there, but Franco just put his nose in and ground away till he got 3 yards out of it.
Mike Webster goes over the ball. Steve Corson and Ray Pinney to his right. Sam Davis and John Kolb to his left. Here's Bradshaw going for the end zone. Overthrown. Swan made a move to the outside of the 5-yard line, and Bradshaw threw for the end zone. There would appear to be a cross up there. Pass incomplete. So back it comes to the 22.5-yard line. 3rd down and a short 7.
Terry now 6 for 8 with 1 interception.
They bring Ed Gallagher off. And they come on with the extra linebacker, Mark Nichols. 3-0 in favor of the Steelers, and Pittsburgh is back in San Francisco territory at the 22.5-yard line. Bradshaw sets the Steelers in a strong right formation. Bradshaw's back and would like to pass again, and he goes for the end zone, and there it is, caught by Lynn Swan for the touchdown. Wide open in the end zone. Swan took it all the way to the wall. Well inside of Vern Robertson. Well inside of Bob Jury. Laid right on the money. Officially, a 22-yard touchdown strike.
Yes, indeed. Vern Robertson was picking Swan up, but he did a number on him. And then Chuck Chris came over to help, but much too late. Swan just taking the pass wide open in the end zone.
53rd catch of the season, his 10th touchdown catch. Girella goes for the point after. Colquitt holding. Girella kicks it. It is good. The Steelers lead 10-0. We'll be right back.
So the Steelers drive 80 yards after Ray Wershing had missed on a field goal attempt for San Francisco. Terry Bradshaw filling the air with passes at one point in the drive, throwing the ball 3 straight times and connecting on all 3. Then fulfilling the drive by nicely lofting the ball 22 yards to Lynn Swan, who caught it on the run, almost ran into a wall, or perhaps did, down well behind the end zone, but I guess he's okay. And the Steelers are now out in front of the 49ers, 10-0, as Roy Girella tees up the ball to kick off early in the second quarter, 10-0.
Girella kicking it off, left to right. And it is coming down the far side and out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Chased down by Greg Boykin. Penalty marker goes down. The Steelers will be penalized 5 yards. And the kickoff will come from the 30-yard line.
One thing I guess they don't want to do tonight is kick that ball to Davey Williams, who last week, for example, ran one back 89 yards against the Rams. So far, they've kicked off twice of the Steelers, and both times to Paul Hofer. And I believe they do want to keep the ball away from Williams, who is on the left-hand side among the 3 deep men down there for the kickoff. But Roy Girella will now be penalized and will be kicking off from the 30-yard line. So, of course, Williams, Hofer, and who is the other deep man? 33 would be Greg Boykin, move up accordingly.
Well, the big boo in the background was for the nationally adored voice of ABC, who is bringing radio back on Monday nights. Strong. Here is Girella kicking off. And he hooks it this time, and it's going to go out of bounds again with Boykin right over it. He touched it, they say, at the 17-yard line. Huh. Now that is a strange bit of event. Boykin, in following the football, bounced up and touched him on the face mask and then went out of bounds.
Yeah, you might say out of nose as we see the replay. The dump club should have got out of there. He kept pursuing that football, following it like it was a dear friend as it was going out of bounds.
But you've got to pursue it because you don't know what's coming down on top of you, and a Steeler could get on it and have it, see?
Right, good point.
So he got a bad bounce. Okay, they run out of the eye now from their own 17-yard line, and Scott Bull rolling left. Here he comes. He's in trouble. He breaks loose up over the 15, the 20, and hit from behind and brought down at the 23-yard line. L.C. Greenwood got to him. Caught him from behind. Make it the 24-yard line. Scott Bull was in trouble and could have been thrown for a sizable loss, but he was equal to the task and brought the ball upfield 7.5 yards. Second down, 2.5 yards to go. Ken Harrison to the left and Mike Schumann to the right. Scott Bull hands it off, and they try the left side. And they send Bob Farrell up to the 27-yard line. He may have a first down. Steve Furness at the bottom of the play. Steelers with Greenwood, Green, Furness, and Banaszak up front. Ham, Lambert, and Caves the linebackers. Johnson and Blunt on the corners. Wagner and Shell on the safeties. They'll take time to measure, but it would appear that the young man has picked up the yardage he needed. Maybe not. Inches. Third down and inches. Freddie Solomon comes back on the field. They've got one tight end hurt, Ken McAfee. So they've got to adjust if they want to go with two tights. Bull gives them the play. They're going to send their wideouts into regular position, both ways. Solomon to the right and Harrison to the left. Running backs, Hofer and Farrell. And Bull keeping and plowing ahead and getting, undoubtedly, the inches he needed up to the 33-yard line. Banaszak and Green at the bottom of the play. San Francisco gets its third first down.
Chuck Noll tonight is alternating Gary Dunn and Steve Furness at right tackle. And I suppose if you were a San Francisco offensive lineman, it might be a little discouraging to look up and see a fresh horse in there opposite you. And it may be some advantage to the Steelers. I don't know.
McAfee's handling a phone down on the sidelines, has an ice bag on his left knee. Put a man in the slot left, and here is Bull throwing to the far side, and it is caught out of bounds, incomplete. He went to Solomon. Solomon was belted by Ron Johnson, and the play is ruled out of bounds. They've completed 1 of 4 passes with 1 intercepted by Ron Johnson. It is second down 10. They bring Knutson back in. Solomon coming out. Ernie Hughes comes out, the rookie from Notre Dame. Lauren Taves goes out, and Tony Dungy becomes a 5th defensive back for the Steelers. San Francisco on 2nd and 10. At its own 28-yard line, out of the I formation. Bull handing off, and straight up the middle. Over the 30 to the 32-yard line, Paul Hofer, the ball carrier. Jack Lambert and Donnie Shell make the stop. And Myron, he's got quickness, the young man from Ole Miss.
Yes, he does, and he cuts back against the grain very well. He headed to his right and then cut to his left, and, wow, he was through there very quickly.
Furness and Dungy out. That brings Taves back along with Dirk Winston. 4 linebackers now with 3 down linemen. Greenwood, Green, and Banaszak up front. Third down and 5 for San Francisco. They put Hofer in the slot to the left side. Farrell is the single setback. Bull is back, and he gets it away under pressure. Throws to nobody as L.C. Greenwood came in on him with the arms up high. That's reminiscent of the Super Bowl years.
Oh, I'll tell you, sure, that's what he did to Francis Tarkenton. The only difference being that Francis was running over there and enabling L.C. to travel less distance to do it. This time, though, he was coming up the middle, and he made it very difficult for Bull to see, let alone throw.
Mike Connell standing at his own 18-yard line. Downfield, T. Bell and Jim Smith for the Steelers. Punt will carry right to left. Steelers jockeying on defense. Snap is a little high, but he gets away a high, booming punt. T. Bell under it at the 25-yard line. Coming forward to the 30 and is spilled at the 34-yard line. A 43-yard punt. And the return by T. Bell of 9 yards. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
49ers 10-0. with 10 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second period. Roy Girella having kicked a 42-yard field goal, and Terry Bradshaw hitting a 22-yard touchdown pass to Swan. And here go the Steelers at their 35.
Stallworth wide left, or rather Swan wide, Stallworth wide left, Swan in the slot. Now they bring Blyer into a wide flanker position and give it to Franco straight up the middle. And he comes to the 38-yard line. Franco Harris brought down by Joe Harris, the left side linebacker. So they put the slot man to the left and then shifted Blyer to a wide flanker position to the right, giving them a wide double wing look. Franco going off for some kind of attention, and that brings that's going to bring Rick Moser on, the rookie from Rhode Island. See if we can get the glasses on Harris.
Yeah, I've got him on, Jack. I cannot tell yet what it is.
Second down. Bradshaw's back. Straight down the middle to Grossman. He's at the 48. Running to his right. He's trapped, and he's going to go down at the 48-yard line. Grossman caught by the ankle by Mark Nichols, the linebacker, and he could not get loose, struggling hard as he could. That is the 10th pass thrown, 8 completed, and Randy Grossman getting his second catch of the night, and the Steelers their 11th first down.
Ralph Berlin is over there talking to Franco, kneeling alongside of him. Maybe he's asking him, what day of the week is it, Franco? He might have had his bell rung. I don't know. They're not treating anything.
Have Blyer in the slot to the right to give the ball to Moser, the big rookie, hitting off right tackle, coming up over the 50 and edges into San Francisco territory. So Moser crosses the 50-yard line barely, and the stop is made by Archie Reese. They've been running away from Cedric Hardman all night, trying to stay clear of him.
And right now they're back to their ground game.
Second down and 7 yards to go. The Steelers leading 10-0 over the San Francisco 49ers. 8:43 on the turning clock in the second quarter. Slot man to the left, and Blyer comes right as a flanker. Wide double wing formation for the Steelers. Quick pitch to Moser. Moser coming off the right side, over the 50, down to the 45, and onto the 43-yard line. As he was bumped by Joe Harris. Came down over top of Bob Jury, and they are shy of a first down by about a yard.
And trainer Ralph Berlin had his hand up Franco's right sleeve, apparently working on his shoulder. Perhaps that's what it is. Franco seems in some kind of pain.
Sidney Thornton comes in to replace Rick Moser in the backfield. Or did he? Nope, he didn't. I saw him. Oh, yeah, he's set up as the wingback. Moser stays in. And they hit in there in the short yardage formation. Flags go down. So they left Moser in, and Thornton came in to replace a wideout as they brought an extra guard in, Ted Peterson. Now the wideouts come back. We're going to pause for station identification.
You're listening to Steeler Football 78 on WVAM-FM, Altoona, Country FM 100.
San Francisco was offside, and the Steelers get the first down on the penalty. Ball moves to the 38-yard line, first down 10. Swan and Stallworth are back. Grossman, the tight end, in a strong left formation. Running backs are Moser and Blyer. Bradshaw drops back. They're coming after him, and he fires downfield. Almost picked off, going for Swan at the 26-yard line. And coming across, Chuck Crisp made a dive for his second interception of the night. Unsuccessfully. They had a good rush on Bradshaw that time, and somebody was using a lot of hands protecting him.
Well, Robertson was covering him, but Chris is the free safety, and he just roams around back there looking for an opportunity to pick off a pass. He did pick off one of Bradshaw's tonight. Bradshaw is now 8 for 11 with one interception.
Second down 10 at the San Francisco 38, with Pittsburgh leading 10-0. Bradshaw sets the club. Hands it off to Blyer. Blyer angling off the right side, crosses the 35, goes to the 34-yard line. Down underneath the play. Linebacker Dan Buns getting up down to Archie Reese, the rookie defensive lineman. The ball is just inside the 35. It's going to be third down now and 7 yards to go for the Steelers.
And by the way, Jack, this AstroTurf here at Candlestick is said by Georgie Porgy Allen to be the hardest surface in the league. O.J. Simpson calls it Candlestone Park. So when those guys go down, I guess they're saying, ouch.
Mike Webster goes over the football for the Steelers. Strong left formation. Grossman, the tight end. Wide both ways. Stunning to the linebackers. They're coming after him in a blitz. Bradshaw gets rid of the football, and Swan takes it at the 14-yard line, and then he is caught by the head and thrown by Vern Robertson. We'll kick that one around a while tonight, won't we? They had the blitz coming at Bradshaw. He unloaded the Swan, and Swan made a brilliant move to catch it, and then was hit by Robertson and knocked down at the 14.
And that was the old Pitt Panther, Bob Jury, coming with the safety blitz. They had a linebacker blitzing as well, but on the delayed safety blitz, here came Jury, and Bradshaw got rid of it in the nick of time and then took Jury down his throat.
Swan has 5 catches on the night, 54 on the season. The San Francisco 14. San Francisco jumps. Now let's get the ruling. They were pulled off by the Steelers. Illegal procedure will take the ball back to the 19-yard line. 5 yards.
So it'll be first down and 15 at the 19-yard line. And I would suppose that Bradshaw will not let up on the passing game in as much as he's completed 9 out of 12, and the San Francisco secondary is looking pretty much as advertised. That is the particular area that Dan Radakovich is working on since coming back to the 49ers, the secondary.
Ed Gallagher out. Mark Nichols in as the 4th linebacker for the 49ers. First down 15 at the 19-yard line. Bradshaw wanted to hand it off, but Blyer stumbled, and Bradshaw had to keep it rolled out. Rocky lost his footing as he went for the handoff coming forward, and Bradshaw had to keep it, and they were on him like a blanket. Cedric Hardman was there, along with Dan Bunz, back to the 24-yard line, a 5-yard loss, and Blyer lost his footing.
Yes, he did indeed, and so he never did get to the handoff. And Terry saw that he was just going to have to go it himself, and he then slipped and fell, got up, and was quickly put down. So we're one play away from Roy Boyd-Jarella having to come on to try another field goal.
Blyer goes into the slot close on the left side. Mosier in the backfield. The give to Mosier through the middle and down to the 20-yard line. Rick Mosier, the rookie from Rhode Island, playing in place of the injured Franco Harris. And the tackle made by Archie Reese at the 20-yard line. And the Steelers have third down and 16 yards to go.
Oh, third down. I correct myself then. I had thought that was third down coming up when I said that Jarella would be coming on.
Gallagher coming back in. Wonder Mons, the former Steeler. And there's an extra defensive back. Bradshaw at the 20-yard line, calling the signals for the Steelers. Now there's too much time. Bradshaw taking too much time in sizing up that San Francisco defense and apparently going to an audible. That takes it back to the 25, another 5-yard penalty.
And apparently also trying to set the rookie Mosier, Rick Mosier, in a proper position in the backfield. He turned and pointed to him, and Mosier moved. By that time, the whistle had blown, so they are back to the 25-yard line now.
4:47 to play in the first half. Pittsburgh leading 10-0. Bradshaw's now at the 25. He's back there. They're looking for him, and he throws. And there's Swan for a touchdown at the goal. Swan was a step away from Bob Jury, who wound up down on the turf. And the rookie from Pitt is getting a lesson from the veteran receiver from Southern California, who gets his second touchdown catch of the night. The Steelers go on the board with another TD.
And all these Swans in the stands undoubtedly go crazy because this is Lynn Swan's hometown, his home territory, and he left Robertson and the 49ers in their defense, I would presume, intend for Chris to pick him up, but he wasn't able to get over there. I mean, Jory, rather. And so it's a nice TD pass for Terry again.
Girella goes for the point after. It is up there, and it is good. Steelers move out to a 17-0 lead, and Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Visit the one.
So Terry Bradshaw with his 2 touchdown tosses tonight to Lynn Swan now has 21 touchdown passes this season and has tied a Steeler record set by Ed Brown, quarterback Ed Brown, back in 1963. What's all the hollering about? Tell me. Oh, a sign is hung up in the stands that says, "Blame Joe Thomas." He, of course, is the beloved general manager.
This time it's sailing downfield, caught at the 15. It'll come back over the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35-yard line. They are trying to keep that ball away from Williams. No question about it whatsoever. And that one was fielded by Mark Nichols, the linebacker. Rick Moser made the tackle on him at the 35-yard line. First down, 10.
Well, I suppose you can keep it away that way, kicking the ball short, not going for all the distance you'd like because you don't particularly fear the San Francisco offense. So you give them a little field position, so what?
Freddie Solomon to the right and Ken Harrison to the left. Bull digs in. They're after him. Now he runs out of the pocket. Up to the 35, the far side, the 40, and in. Hits down at the 43-yard line. As he ran into Jack Ham, was pursued by Joe Green. By golly, Green was in a foot race with him from behind, and Ham set up the roadblock in front. And now Green slaps Ham on the back, and they nailed him at the 43-yard line, but he picked up 8 yards. That's the second time tonight that Bull has been trapped and got away.
Yes, Scott Bull is a rangy quarterback, 6'5". He's listed as 211 pounds out of Arkansas. A third-year man.
Harrison to the right, Schumann to the left as they alternate their wide receivers. They run out of the I formation, putting Paul Hofer at the top of the I. They pitch the ball to Hofer, running to the left, and he swings and is caught by Shell and thrown out of bounds at the 42.5-yard line. Donnie Shell caught him on the near side of the field and tossed him over the sideline. And that will bring up the third down play. Third down and about 3.5 yards to go.
And Warren Taves, who has played the 49ers outside game well tonight on that play, did not have the speed to match Hofer's burst. Hofer simply outran him to the sideline and had to be chased down by Donnie Shell.
San Francisco at its own 42.5. Got 2 men in the slot to the right side. Flag on the play. Here is Bull running to the right, and he is caught and thrown at the 42-yard line by Jack Lambert. Ran right into the arms of Lambert. Lauren Taves there to help out, but I believe the Steelers may have been offside. We'll get the signal. Offside against Pittsburgh, and that will give San Francisco a first down. 49ers, 4th first down of the night. Steelers have 14 in the ball game. Takes the ball up to the 48-yard line. First down and 10.
We were unable to get our referees, Mike, hooked into our broadcast tonight, but Dwight White, as I saw it, was the man who made the early start and was offsides on the play. So, all right, the 49ers get another first down. They trail the Steelers 17-0, 3:35 left in the second quarter.
We had not reported him into the ball game, and he is in there. 8-year veteran from East Texas State. Jerry Dunn plays the right tackle position. The handoff, and Hofer makes it to the 50 and is stopped dead by Jack Lambert. Hole open, then it closed as Lambert plugged the gap, and Hofer comes down at the 50-yard line. Gain of about 2 yards, second down and 8 yards to go. Next Sunday afternoon, the Steelers and the Oilers from the Astrodome in Houston. That is a big football game. They're all big. This one's a big one tonight when you're driving for the playoffs. Wideouts both ways. Hofer and Farrell in the backfield. Here's Bull rolling right. Check. Stop. Now running. Stepping forward. Now he's hit. Knocked down by Dwight White. He turned and came back. And there was White to nail him. on the sack, back at the 42.5-yard line, and Green was right alongside of him, but White hit him and smacked him down at the 43-yard line.
I'll tell you, he didn't know which way to go back there. He was a little confused. So he turns to his left. He says, I think I'll go left. And he takes one step to his left, and Dwight the Mad Dog White is there on the run, and bam! Bam went the bull.
That's like hesitating at a train crossing, you know.
A Mad Dog met a bull, and the bull had no chance.
Dave's out, and Dungy is an extra defensive back. Tony's plugged up right in the middle of the defensive line. Now he drops off. And Bull goes back to throw. Drills it. Is it caught? It is at the 43-yard line by Ken Harrison. And they rule that he's down. Ham was the coverage man on the play. And they rule that the pass is complete on a diving catch. First down, San Francisco at the Pittsburgh 42.
Yes, it was a good catch. It was thrown pretty well, too, because it was thrown low, and when you're throwing down the middle, those are tough to defend against. But it did require a nice catch by Harrison, and he made it. So the 49ers are into Steelers territory and perhaps up to something. The Steelers leading the 49ers 17-0 late in the second quarter with 2 minutes remaining, and we'll be right back. All right, the 49ers with first down at the Steelers 42. Franco Harris pacing back and forth in front of the bench. The problem seems to be with his right shoulder. He was taken out of the ball game during the Steelers' last touchdown drive. And I don't know why he's pacing back and forth like that. Pacing is not known as therapy for a jammed shoulder, but in any event, I hope it's nothing serious. The Steelers need him in Houston next Sunday.
Here they go, first down 10 with Bull back and looking, and Bull throwing out the near side, and it is broken up, and the flags go down. Late reaction. Lawrence Taves over there to cover along with Lambert. Lambert went down, and Taves bumped the receiver. That was Paul Hofer, and they're going to rule interference.
Yes, I would suppose it would be on Taves. Lambert was coming up to defend in front of Hofer. Taves was covering him from behind. The pass thrown over to the left sideline. I don't know.
Taves bumped him.
Yeah, Taves. It would have to have been.
Lambert
Taves.
was reaching for the ball out in front. Taves reaching the other way bumped him, so that is interference. They send Ken Harrison to the right, and you'll note Freddie Solomon's in the slot out there. The running backs are lined up in the I. Play action fake. Bull rolls right, stops, fires downfield. Incomplete. Possibly going for Ken Harrison down inside the 15. Hammond Johnson covering in the area. The pass is no good.
Or perhaps to the tight end, Paul Steele, who was being covered by a linebacker, I believe Jack Ham. And if it was to Steele, then it was badly overthrown. It was really hard to tell who he was throwing to because the ball was thrown to nobody.
They bring Dave Williams out. They had him in for that play. Sending Ken Harrison, a 6-footer, 3-year veteran from SMU to the right, and Freddie Solomon, the speedsters, in the slot. Running backs are Hofer and Farrell. Bull is back, the rush is on, and he throws under pressure. Incomplete at the 18. Donnie Shell was a step behind Freddie Solomon on a crossover, and Solomon went up for it and could not hold it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was the big 6 there, and Solomon did lead Shell by a step after taking a shot, and the ball was thrown a little high. He had a leap for it, but it was indeed catchable on his right shoulder. And so the crowd didn't like it. Their booing's got full lightly so far, lightly at this point. And it's third down and 10 for the 49ers at the Steelers' 31-yard line.
5 years ago, we were here when John Brody played his last game against the Steelers.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Brody had heard the reaction of the crowd many times.
Did he ever? You know, Elliot Walker, the Pitt Panther who ran with Tony Dorsett on the national championship team, was drafted by the 49ers and is listed as a second-string halfback on the depth chart, but he has not yet carried the ball a single time all season. I don't know. Well, he, of course, moved up the second string because of the injuries to Del Williams and, to Wilbur Jackson and O.J. Simpson. But he has yet to lug it as a professional in a regular season game.
Standing down there rather casually in the bench area talking with Archie Reese, another rookie. Well, the Steelers have a 17-0 lead. And San Francisco has a 3rd and 10 at the Pittsburgh 31. And the clock reads 1:44. Time is not a factor. So if you shut them off on this play, chances are you're going to have to look at a 4th down play, because I don't think a field goal from that distance is going to help them that much. An attempt.
No, it would be unlikely. I guess you're right about that, Jack. Gary Dunn into the Steelers' defensive line.
Worshing has kicked 2 out of 3 from 40 to 49 yards. Now we got Bull back there. Has time, lots of time, firing to the far side on a little comeback on a loop out to the side. It is caught at the 14-yard line. Ron Johnson was unable to cover the receiver, tight end Paul Steele, who got away from him. And Steele looped to the outside and came back on the ball. You can't blame Johnson because the quarterback had all day.
Oh, they collapsed the Steelers' pass rush. And, my goodness, the guy could have written his autobiography before throwing the ball, and you just cannot defend against those receivers all night.
Minute 37 there at the 15-yard line. Scott Bull has the 49ers lined up. Now he's back there, and he lets it go into the end zone, and the receiver is down. Play covered carefully by the official. Harrison is appealing. Mel Blunt covering. The official watching the play says, no cigar. I think if you see in that end zone, there's a ridge that runs out there in the turf, and he may have just caught his toe in that and gone down. There's a line that goes directly across there.
Could be. Both wide receivers for the 49ers complaining to the official of interference, but he says, So it's 2nd down and 10 at the, just inside the Steelers' 15-yard line.
Here they come out of the huddle. Harrison and Schumann set out to the right. Schumann's in the slot. Now they bring Paul Hofer into a wingback position to the left. Bull is back. Now Bull is running, bumps into a teammate, and he throws over. L.C. Greenwood intercepted in the end zone by Jack Ham. And Greenwood was the man who did the job, because Scott Bull, in scrambling, ran into one of his teammates, and then when he bumped loose, got ready to throw the ball, there was L.C. right up over him. With the arms extended, he threw it to Ham in the end zone for the interception, and the Steelers have it at the 20.
You betcha, and L.C. was a one-man rush there. The Steelers were laying back for the pass. Joe Green was ranging along the line of scrimmage with his hands up, and L.C. finally came up the middle, and he may have even deflected that ball. He gave Bull a clobbering as he got rid of it, and it was a nice interception falling like a shot quail into Jack Ham's hands.
Jack Ham's fans are here tonight. That Dobra Shonka?
Yeah.
Posters up. Hey, Franco's back. Here he comes running to the right, and he's chased out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Franco Harris is back in there. Picks up 8 yards, running to the right, and angles out of bounds on the near side of the field. Linebackers over to cover him. Joe Harris, Dan Buns, 2nd down 2 with 1:17. Play in the first half.
That, by the way, was the 2nd interception by the Steelers. Ron Johnson picked off Bull's first throw of the ball game, and that led to a Steeler field goal. Now Jack Ham has come through.
Bradshaw sets them at the 28-yard line, drops back. Now he's firing to Franco, coming out of the backfield, ruled incomplete as Franco went down at the 35, catching him. Coming up to cover was Bob Jury, incomplete. The local radio broadcast, KSFO, in the booth to the left of us, has 4 people working and 10 people in the booth watching. Undoubtedly the most bizarre radio booth I've seen in some time. They've got a cast of thousands standing over there.
I'll tell you something. You weren't going to throw one of them out because he's Eddie DeBartolo Jr., who owns the ball club.
Nothing I'd like better than to do a broadcast and have that man in the booth with me. Well, we got Rocky Blyer in there, and give us to Harris, slashing off the left side, and he goes to the first down at the 31-yard line. And that will be Pittsburgh's 15th first down.
Rocky told me to remind Eddie DeBardo, though, they both went to Notre Dame at the same time, that to come down to the locker room and see him after the game. My hunch is Rocky wants to sell him something. I mean, you would say it's a prime customer, huh?
Right.
A few $100 million, I guess.
Steelers call timeout with 1:04 remaining in the first half. Would like to call your attention to next Sunday's activity. We have a short work week in preparation for the Houston Oilers and a key game. The Oilers hold one of the two victories over the Steelers. That game on a Monday night just a while back. Ball game will start at 4 o'clock Pittsburgh time, and that means we'll be on the air at 3:30 Pittsburgh time, live from the Astrodome.
Time for a quiz. Who has more interceptions than any other linebacker now playing in the National Football League?
Jack Ham.
Jack Ham is right. He has intercepted his 25th a few moments ago to break a tie with Mike Curtis. He's got more than any guy playing linebacker in the NFL.
All right. Here's a quick screen out to the left to Stallworth. The Stallworth runs away from the screen, coming back to the opposite side. Yes, Swan to block for him, breaks the tackle at the 30, the 35, and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Penalty marker goes down. May have had an illegal formation. That was a different formation, to say the least. Stallworth did not pick up a screen. He came back in the opposite direction. Got a penalty pending against our side.
Bob Jury was chasing Stallworth across the field and caught up with him, but Stall gave him a smart stiff arm and knocked him down and kept going. Jury is playing against the guys he so much admired when he played for Pitt. I'm sure a lot of these guys were fellas he looked up to, Steeler players, and he's getting a first-hand experience with them tonight.
Illegal use of hands on offense. Takes it back to the 20-yard line. Stallworth to the left and Swan to the right. And this time we've got man in the slot to the left side, Sidney Thornton. Give to Franco. He's trying to get outside the left. He's trapped. Now he's going to run back to the right. And he's trapped again. Now running up the sideline and belted out on the far side at the 28-yard line.
He landed right on that right shoulder, and he is down. And they're helping him up for the Steeler coaches along the sideline. He hit hard, and this is Kansas Stone Park, as O.J. calls it. That's the shoulder they were working on before.
He's up on his feet, apparently okay.
Well, I'll tell you, he went a lot of directions on that play, did he not?
He sure did. Mosier and Thornton are both in there now. On second down, 12 and a half. Clock is stopped at 40 seconds. 17-0 in favor of Pittsburgh. Wide set in the backfield. Bradshaw giving the ball to Thornton. And Thornton gets over the 30 to the 31. He had Sam Davis pulling and blocking. They closed in on him. And right down at the bottom of the play, San Francisco 49ers had Archie Reese, who refused to be taken out of that. And they also have a player shaken up. That's going to be Cedric Hardman. So Hardman in need of attention, and we got a timeout call.
And we've got Franco in with 60 yards on 12 carries. He needs just 9 more yards to become the 6th greatest rusher in National Football League history. With 9 more yards, he will pass Larry Zonka, who of course is still active and can keep tacking on yardage of his own, but is unlikely to keep pace with Franco. Zonka having a little rust on him, and the New York Giants not having quite the attack that the Steelers do. But there's Franco averaging 5 yards a carry. Rocky Blyer in with 29 yards on only 5 carries. That's better than 5 yards a carry, almost 6. So the Steelers have done both things so far in this ball game. They have thrown the football, taking advantage of San Francisco's pitiable secondary, and at the same time squeezed the oil into the running game that they are so intent upon getting into high gear for the Houston Oilers next week. They went back to fundamentals this past week in practice, and it sounds like a cliche, but usually when Chaz Noll has declared we shall go back to fundamentals, it has worked.
Willie McRae comes in at defensive end. Ed Gallagher comes out. Mark Nichols becomes an extra linebacker. They'll go into a 33 defense. Set up 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, pulling 1 up in between the end and the nose guard to the left side. Bradshaw on third, about 8.5, gives the ball to Thornton, running to the left. Good power, gets a block, cuts up over the 40, and is brought down at the 42. Steve Corson pulling and blocking on the play to carry to the far side. And Bob Jury up to make the tackle. The Steelers have picked up a first down, and the clock is running out.
And prior to the Corson block, there was a nice one by Rick Mosier, but that should do it, should it not?
That will do it. In the city beside the bay, we're at the end of the first half with the score. Pittsburgh 17, San Francisco nothing. Myron Cope will comment on the first half in a minute.
Halftime at Candlestick Park, the Steelers leading the San Francisco 49ers 17-0 after showing a good ground game plus a strong passing attack in the first half. And we'll be back after this pause on the Steelers Football Network. So in the first half, we saw Franco getting underway and getting a nice start toward a 100-yard football game, provided that right shoulder that he injured in the second quarter and then seemed to re-injure in the closing seconds does not prevent him from staying in this football game. You can well imagine that Chuck Noll might want to take no chances with the 17-0 lead, no more chances with Franco's shoulder, and say the heck with the 100-yard game and just get him out of there and give Sidney Thornton some experience in this football game. The Steelers, again, by winning tonight, will have assured themselves of a place in the playoffs. They will have assured themselves of at least a wild card berth. And I think that situation bears retelling because it was a little difficult to understand, and we gave it to you just before the start of this game. So let's give it to you again. What brought this about, and none of us had really thought much about the Steelers being in this situation, but who expected Miami, Oakland, and Denver to lose their latest ball games? That's what they did. So each of those teams in the American Conference now have only 5 losses. And because Denver is playing Oakland this week, one of them's got to be a loser, or unless there's a tie, of course, in overtime. Even that wouldn't matter in this situation. Anyhow, the loser will then have 6 losses, which means that the loser could not be the wild card team. There would then be 1 wild card team from the Eastern Division of the AFC and 1 from the Central. And the worst the Steelers can do is lose 5 games this season, and the way they're going tonight, that is not going to happen. Well, let's see. They are now 10-2. They would be 11-2 with 3 games remaining. They could lose 3 and finish with 5 losses. But in any event, it all boils down to this. If they win tonight, they are in the playoffs. But I say the heck with that. You've got to keep in mind that home field advantage and beat out New England by staying 1 game ahead of New England, which is where they will rest if they come through here with a win tonight. All right, Bob Koppler is standing by with all the scores from around the league on the halftime scoreboard in just a minute. As we await the start of the second half in Candlestick Park here in San Francisco, with the Steelers leading the 49ers 17-0, a glance at the first half statistics shows the Steelers in with a crunching 249 yards in the first half to 91 for the 49ers. And that 249 is nicely split up between running and passing, 113 rushing and 136 throwing. We'll have the second half kickoff in a minute. Look at those first half statistics again. One statistic that I very much like is punts. Steelers, 0 punts. They did not have to punt in the first half, and that tells you that they have been rolling through the 49ers each time they got the football. Franco Harris officially given 61 yards and 12 carries for a sweetie average of 5.1 yards a carry. Rocky in with 29 yards on 5 carries, averaging 5.8. Sidney Thornton with 14 yards in 2 carries, and Rick Mosier with 13 in 3. So totally, the Steeler running game is averaging 4.7 yards a carry, while pretty well checking the ground game of the 49ers. In fact, the 49ers got only 30 yards in 9 carries out of Hofer and 9 yards in 5 carries out of Farrell, Bob Farrell. Scott Bull, the quarterback, kept the ball 3 times and gained 16 yards scrambling. And Terry Bradshaw in the passing department, he's in with a nifty 10 for 14 and 1 interception. Going into this weekend's games, he had fallen to second place in the AFC quarterback rankings behind Bob Greasy, but yesterday, Greasy threw 3 interceptions and had a key fumble as well, so that could tighten up a lot after this ball game is into the books. All right, the 49ers ready to kick off, and here's Jack Flemming.
49ers have been warming up Steve DeBerg down below. Back at Candlestick Park. Timeout down in the field. We'll be right back.
The Steelers have now fumbled 4 times, lost 3 of those. Rocky Blyer has lost 2. Rocky had made the sticks on a good run. It was tough yardage, but they were coming fast and furious, and they knocked the ball loose.
First down 10 at the 47. Back goes Bull, flips it out into the left flat, completes the pass to Harrison. Here he comes over the 50, and he's in Steeler territory. Joe Green made the tackle at the 47.5-yard line. Ken Harrison. Quick shot to the flanker to the left.
Is that Bull's first completion in this half, or have I forgotten?
His second one.
Second one.
Harrison's second catch on the night. The 49ers are 5 of 18 with 3 interceptions. They've had 3 turnovers. The Steelers have now had 4. At the 47-yard line, second down 4. Out of the eye. Here is Bull faking and rolling left. Firing and hitting his target, the tight end Paul Steele at the 38-yard line. He's knocked down by Mike Wagner at the 37.5.
A snappy-looking play by Bull as he did the play-action thing to his running back coming up the middle, and then quickly rolled out to his left and threw on the run. He looked sharp on that play. The ball's at the Steelers 37. First down for the 49ers. They trail 17-7.
Steele has caught 3 tonight. He had only 14 on the season coming into this ball game. Again, they're in the eye. Handoff goes to Farrell, and Farrell hits down to about the 36-yard line. L.C. Greenwood and Jack Ham get the stop. I believe the crowd thought the Steelers were offside on that play. There was movement. They pick up a yard, second down and 9.
Sure looks like Gary Dunn was across, but they're not calling it.
Mark it at the 36-yard line. The 49ers moving right to left. Lauren Taves off the field. Tony Dungy in as the extra defensive back. They're wide in both directions. They split the tight end a couple of steps, hand it off inside, and they plow into the middle. Little flurry of fists downfield. Farrell got short yardage with Joe Green stopping him at the 34. It's going to be third down and 6.5. Winston coming back on, and Taves coming back, and Dungy going off, and Dunn off, a 3-man rush now.
Ron Johnson a little hot down there, but the Steelers tell him, take it easy, Ron, take it easy. So it's 3rd and 6.
Harrison to the left, Solomon to the right. Bull looking for Solomon. Throwing to him. Intercepted by Ham at the 25, up over the 30, and Ham goes down at the 31. Ham with his second interception of the night. Went up and caught that pass, which was zeroed in on Solomon, took it out of the air and brought it back to the 31-yard line, a 6-yard return.
Jack Ham's 26th interception of his career, and as I told you earlier in the game when he had picked off a pass, which was his 25th naturally, it made him the linebacker among all active linebackers who has the most pass interceptions in a career. So here he was with a nice leaping interception to pull the Steelers out of difficulty.
Got the 49ers back on defense again. Bradshaw with a play-action fake. Flips one right into the hands of Jury, who couldn't hold it at the 35-yard line. Threw it directly to Jury.
Well, no, he was really trying to hit Swan over on the sideline, 10 yards beyond Jury, but instead of lobbing it over him, he just tried to shave it close, and Jury got up there, and it looked like he was throwing it at him. But Swan was the intended receiver downfield.
Mike Balderson becomes an extra linebacker. Jimmy Webb comes off out of the defensive line. Second down, 10. Blyer takes a wide position to the right, giving us 3 wide men. Single setback. They pitch it to him. Mosier running to the right, gets the blocking, cuts upfield over the 35, goes to the 37-yard line. He'll pick up about 6 yards on the carry. Mosier, the ball carrier, brought down by Joe Harris, the second-year linebacker.
That Mosier's running hard, isn't he?
Sure is. With Blyer set out there, they get some extra blocking for him. Joe Harris from Georgia Tech made the stop. Third down and about 4. Bradshaw's back. They chase him out of the pocket. They're going to get him. And down he goes inside the 20-yard line on a safety blitz. Bob Jury firing in there to get Terry Bradshaw back behind the 20-yard line. They will mark it at the 19-yard line. The second time he's been sacked tonight.
Well, he had no chance. They were coming, and Jury was upon him, so Colquitt will now, for the second time tonight, be punting.
Colquitt standing back at his own 7. Jack Steptoe is the deep man for San Francisco. Colquitt has time, and he gets a lot of foot into it. To the far side, kicks it away from him, and sends it out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A 44-yard punt with no return. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Well, I told you that a little while ago that Colquitt almost always is under orders to try to angle that ball, at least somewhat. He doesn't always succeed, but that time he succeeded beautifully, kicking a 45-yard punt that went out of bounds, no return.
Scott Bull, the quarterback for the 49ers. Bull rolling to the right, throwing on the move, and it is incomplete. Bob Farrell. That was an odd call, and I guess the ruling he did not have possession when he went out of bounds.
I thought he did.
Looked like he did, but
I don't know.
He didn't. Ham covering on the play.
Must have been juggling the football. Maybe that's what the linesman thought when he rolled on the play.
49ers have thrown 21, completed 6, and had 4 intercepted. Now they move it back into the close slot on the left side. Bull. Out to the left, the screen pass to Farrell. Farrell over the 35 up to the 40-yard line. Lost the football, toppled out of bounds. Lauren Taves made the tackle. So the screen picks up short yardage. Third down, 6.5 yards to go. 22 passes thrown, 7 completed. Farrell getting his first reception of the night. 9:11 to play. 17-7 Pittsburgh. Lauren Taves out of the ball game. Tony Dungy in as the 5th defensive back. Third down, 6. Bull back there. Here comes LC. Joe Green now has got him, and down he goes. LC coming in wide, and then Green penetrating straight in at him and got him back at the 28-yard line for the second sack of the night for the Steelers. And that will help.
Yes, LC looping around Joe Green and chasing Bull out of that pocket, chasing him actually into Joe's hands. Joe, of course, also was coming. So that's a nice sack. And the 49ers will have to punt.
Connell standing back at his own 14-yard line. Snap to Mike Connell. Gets away an end-over-end, wobbly kick. Smitty takes it at the 35, the 40, the 45, angles right. Almost got loose, but he slammed down at the 49-yard line as he was caught and brought down by Bruce Elia. 37-yard punt. Return to the 49-yard line. We'll be right back.
Joe Green sacking of quarterback Scott Bull on that last series of San Francisco Dons gives the Steelers 33 sacks for the season, and that is one more than they had all last season. And an interesting thing is that 15 of those 33 sacks have been by linebackers and defensive backs, so the Steelers have been putting more variation into their sacking.
Bradshaw calling the signals for the Steelers. Handing it off to Thornton, and Thornton plowing straight ahead down to the 48-yard line. Willie McCray at the bottom of the play for the 49ers. Rookie from Troy State. Gain of about 3 yards. Second down, 7.
The Steeler offensive line blocked well for Sidney, but he tiptoed in there. He didn't hit in there. Who do you think he is, Franco?
They've gone to a 33 defense now. And that is Thornton again, straight down over the 45 to the 43-yard line. Right down at the base of that play, Mark Nichols. Now he comes off the field, and they bring back Ed Gallagher, regular defensive lineman. And it's going to be 3rd down and 1.
That's the way Sidney can run.
Swan and Stallworth out. We have Kolb, Davis, Webster. Corson's been playing for Mullins, who has an injury, and Penny. Handoff is to Mosier. Off the left side. He's trying to break a tackle. He's down to the 35. Did he lose the football again?
Yes, and fell right on it, even with the man bringing him down. He fumbled that ball. Ouch. These guys got the butterfingers tonight. I gotta show that as the 5th fumble. They've lost 3 of them.
Yeah, Mosier lost it and then fell right on it, fortunately. Just inside the 35-yard line. The give is to Mosier, and he hits up the middle, down across the 30 onto the 28. Dan Bunz, the middle linebacker, got the grab on him. Mosier has run real well tonight. He's had a little trouble holding on with to the football. Has run with authority. 2nd down and 3. 12 carries, 59 yards for the rookie from Rhode Island. At the 28-yard line, Bradshaw pitches it out to the right side, and Mosier swings down to the 25-yard line. He is just short of a 1st down. Tackle picked up by Joe Harris, the left side linebacker. And Pittsburgh has 3rd and a half yard. Blyer coming back, and here comes Ted Peterson on. And the Steelers will go to 2 tight ends. The wideout, Stallworth and Swan go off the field. 3rd down and about a foot. Clock turning down to 5:33. Grossman tight right and Peterson tight left, and Thornton is the wingback to the right side. And they give the ball to Mosier, and he plows in there, and he crosses the 25, and he should have the 1st down at the 24.5-yard line. May require a measurement as the ball is uncovered. 49ers bunched up to stop Rick Mosier. They still have not revealed exactly where they're locating the football, and the sticks are already out there. Oh, they put it all the way back. It's not going to make it. They've got it all the way back to the 25-yard line. No way. It's going to be 4th down and about the length of the football to go. He appeared to have it for sure. Interesting that the linesman on the far side had marked. He was holding his foot down almost to the 24-yard line.
Hey.
Very interesting call.
You can see the guy lean in for the first down easy. It was tough running, but he had it.
Now they bunch their defense. Again, we've got the two tight ends, Grossman and Peterson. And Bradshaw goes up in the air, and he's thrown back. Now they've got it marked far enough. Now let's see if they're going to... Now the official had it marked, walks away. They set the ball down at the 24.5. This may be it. They were ready for that one. Half the length of the football, they've got it. First down. That call might have been as bad as the previous one.
I was worried on this one that he didn't make it, but they set that ball very nicely.
Mosier appeared to have it by at least a half yard, and Bradshaw appeared to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. All right, first down 10, the 24.5-yard line in San Francisco territory. The Steelers with the football. And Bradshaw rolling out to the left. He's to the 20, and he is brought down near the 15-yard line. Bradshaw crossing them up, rolling out to the left side, and corralled over there by Willie McRae. Marking that one back to about the 16.5-yard line.
Willie gave Bradshaw a little extra something, I think, and Bradshaw pushed him on his shoulder and said, "Get out of here, you big lug, you have to do that." And nonetheless made a nice gain of 8 yards on the play, faking the handoff and rolling out to the left. But do we need him risking life and limb in this kind of ball game? Is he hurt? Luke Craig tells me Bradshaw is hurt. I didn't see that.
Mike Kruzik comes on.
Good.
So Bradshaw is shaken up as he got toppled on that play. He's up on his feet over there getting attention from the trainers and the doctors. Mike Kruzik, third-year man from Boston College.
You know, if indeed Frank O'Meara has a pinched nerve, that's not a serious thing. It just requires time. And he could be in here, I suppose, if it were necessary. But we don't want to lose Bradshaw.
All right, Kruzik at the 16.5-yard line. Hands it off to Thornton, slanting out the left side over the 15, and he goes down to the 11-yard line, where he is brought down by Chuck Prisk. On a slant to the left side, Sidney Thornton, the ball carrier, takes it down to the 11 for a first down. That is number 21 for the Steelers. Bradshaw's coming back. In the meantime, Mark Nichols comes off the field, and back comes Ed Gallagher, the 7-year veteran defensive tackle from UCLA. First down 10 at the San Francisco 11-yard line. Steelers leading 17-7. We have 3 minutes left on a turning clock. Swan right, Stallworth left. Both of them getting almost head-to-head coverage. Bradshaw hands it off inside, and Thornton is nailed on a crossbuck. San Francisco defense ready and waiting. Right up the middle, Joe Harris, Archie Reese, Dan Bunn. A half-yard loss on the play. Second down, 10.5 yards to go at the 11.5-yard line. Webb comes off, the extra linebacker is in. Steelers on the second down play. Bradshaw is back, looking, throwing, and there's his man, Stallworth, putting the move on the cornerback, Eddie Lewis, on the far side of the end zone to take the pass, going down and over to the sideline in the end zone, and Johnny Stallworth makes the catch for the touchdown. That is Stall's second reception of the night. And Stallworth gets the TD on the pass from Terry Bradshaw. Play covering 11 yards. They went 51 yards in 11 plays. Roy Girella will attempt the point after. Greg Kolk with the holder at the 10-yard line. The snap, the ball is down. Jarrella kicks it. Wobbly, but good. And the score is 24-7 in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the clock shows 2:10 to play. So in the fourth quarter, with 2:10 remaining, the Steelers cap off a 51-yard drive, 11 plays, 11-yard pass to Stallworth for the touchdown. And that makes it 24-7. Roy Jarrella preparing to tee up the football at the 35 to kick off to San Francisco, going deep with Paul Hofer. Greg Boykin to his right and Dave Williams to his left. Thus far tonight, they've kept that ball away from Williams, and that would probably be the best strategy right now. Next Sunday afternoon, after the short work week, the Steelers and the Oilers at the Astrodome in Houston. We're on the air at 3:30 Eastern Time. Jarrella has it ready to go. All right, Jarrella is ready to kick it off. And he kicks it high. Coming down to Hofer at the 5, out over the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, and he goes down at the 28-yard line. Hofer on the return from the 5 to the 28, and Anderson gets the tackle. Larry Anderson makes the stop. They mark it at the 27.5-yard line. The 2-minute warning in the ball game. That brings us the automatic timeout down on the field with the Steelers leading 24-7. And Steelers football continues after this timeout. They made defensive changes. Fred Anderson, the rookie from Prairie View. Gary Dunn, second-year man from Miami. Tom Beasley, first-year man from Virginia Tech. And Dwight White, the veteran, in the defensive line. Robin Cole is in as a linebacker on the right side. Lambert in the middle and Ham on the left side. First down 10. Scott Bull drops back. Digs in. Flips it to his swing man coming out of the backfield on the left side of the 25, the 30, and up to the 35-yard line. And the receiver was Bob Farrell. And Farrell moves the ball to the 35-yard line with Jack Lambert making the tackle. 23 passes, 8 completed, and Farrell getting his second catch. Bull is back again. Bull going down fairly deep, almost intercepted by Ron Johnson at the Pittsburgh 47-yard line. As he missed his target, Freddie Solomon, over at the far side of the field, and Johnson had the interception but did not hold it. 24 passes tried, 8 completed, 4 intercepted. Another fine night for the Pittsburgh defense. The only touchdown came after a fumble at the 5. The defense stopped them at the 5 on the first play, stopped them at the 3 on the second, stopped them at the 2, and then they managed to get Hofer in. Just barely. Third down 2. Scott Bull handing it off to Davey Williams, running to the right, makes his cut up over the 40 and goes to the 42-yard line for the first down. Dave Williams, the second-year running back from Colorado, the ball carrier on a sweep right with Donnie Shell making the stop. 1:14. And Bull is back again. Bull throwing to the sideline, and the pass taken over there by Bob Farrell. Breaks away from Donnie Shell and goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line, and they stop the clock. 25th pass. Farrell getting his third catch out of 9 receptions for San Francisco. Second down 6 at the 45-yard line. 1:06 to play. The Steelers are up 24-7. Back to the line of scrimmage. Paul Seal is the tight end. Wide receivers both ways. Harrison to the left, Solomon to the right, and Bull Back to try it again. They're after him. They got him, and he's in trouble. Gary Dunn gets the sack. Tom Beasley was in there shoulder to shoulder, but Dunn made the play. That is the third sack of the San Francisco quarterback. Takes the ball back to the 34-yard line. So San Francisco looks at 3rd down and 17. With 1:01 to play in the ball game, and Bull lines them up as the clock starts to turn again. And Scott Bull is back, flipping downfield to the 50-yard line, caught by Solomon at the 50, knocked down at the Pittsburgh 47.5-yard line. Donnie Shell over there, Johnson over. All of them get up rather slowly, but they're okay. So it is a first down, and San Francisco calls timeout. That is the 12th first down for the 49ers. Believe it or not, that is Solomon's first catch. They've tried him several times tonight. On the season, Solomon is their top receiver with 29 catches, 390 yards coming into the ball game, and that is his first reception tonight, as he takes it to the Steeler 48-yard line. Donnie Shell comes out, shaken up on that play. And Tony Dungy comes on. Shell's okay, has his helmet off, walking around. So the Steelers have a 24-7 lead over the 49ers with 43 seconds remaining to play in the ball game. San Francisco has the football with 2 timeouts remaining at the Steeler 48-yard line. And Scott Bull has thrown 26 passes, completed 10 with 4 interceptions. Coming into the ball game, Bull had thrown 42 times, completing 19. It had 3 interceptions. So his interception total goes up to 7. And he now has thrown 68 passes and completed 29 of them on the season. Terry Bradshaw has given up 1 interception tonight to break out of that slump that had seen him have 9 over the first 10 games. And in the last 2 games, he had given up 7. Tonight, just 1. Scott Bull going to be caught again by Gary Dunn. Dunn overwhelmed him at the 41-yard line, driving through for the 4th sack of the night. Let's pause for station identification.
You're listening to Steeler Football 78 on WVAM-FM, Altoona, Country FM 100.
Marking at the 43, they're ready to go. Bull is back there, and he throws downfield off the fingertips of his tight end, Paul Seal, at the Pittsburgh 42-yard line with Mike Wagner over to cover. Pass is incomplete. 30 seconds remaining. 49ers play at New Orleans this Sunday. They have Tampa Bay here a week later, and then finish out at Detroit. Steelers go to Houston, have Baltimore in Pittsburgh, and the final game of the season on the road at Denver. Third down now, and 20 yards to go. Scott Bull firing downfield, intercepted Dungy at the 35, gets a block up over the 40, the 45, and a flag down as he comes out of bounds at the 49-yard line. And they're going to call Tom Beasley, I believe. Tony Dungy gets the interception. Steelers' 5th of the night on Scott Bull. And they're marking off 15 yards for a clip. Be charged to Tom Beasley. Takes the ball back to the 34-yard line. 18 seconds to go. San Francisco with 2 timeouts. So another superb game turned in by the defense. Mike Krusek is on to finish the game at quarterback for the Steelers. brings them out of the huddle. His running backs are Mosier and Thornton. Splits them in the backfield. Kruzik hands it off to Sidney Thornton, running to the left. He's trapped. He's going to run back the other direction. Brought down back at the 28-yard line. Tackle made by Bob Jury. The clock turns down to 8 seconds. And I think San Francisco will let it run out, because Pittsburgh has the ball, and there's not too much point in fighting the clock with timeout. It's all over here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. That's the end of the ball game. The final score, Pittsburgh 24, the 49ers 7. I'll be back with Steelers wrap-up in a minute. Well, the Steeler defense was superb. The offense ran as smoothly as a brand-new machine in the first half, building up a 17-0 lead. Sputtered often in the second half. Had a total of 4 turnovers on the night, but then got going in the final period to rack up the absolute clinching touchdown in the 24-7 victory. 22 first downs to 12 for the 49ers. Terry Bradshaw sacked twice through 20 passes, completed 13, 8 of them to Lynn Swann, 2 touchdown passes to Swann, 1 TD pass to Stallworth, and 1 interception. Scott Bull threw 28 while being sacked 4 times. 10 of them completed, 5 intercepted by Ron Johnson, by Jack Ham twice, by Donnie Shell, and by Tony Dungy. In the first quarter, the Steelers, after a Johnson interception at the San Francisco 47, drove to the 11. A penalty and a sack took them back to the 25. Girella kicked the 42-yard field goal. It was 3-0. Wershing then missed the 31-yard field goal for San Francisco. After that miss, the Steelers drove 80 yards in 10 plays, 6 passes in it, 3 to Swann, 1 to Franco, 1 to Stallworth, 1 to Grossman. They scored on a 23-yard touchdown pass to Swann. The point added 10-0. In the second period, with 4:41 to go, they drove 66 yards in 10 plays. Swann had a 10-yard reception, and they scored on a 25-yard pass to Swann, 17-0. In the third quarter, Blyer fumbled at the 5. It took them 3 plays. The first one, no gain. Second one to the 3. The third one to the 2. And then Hofer barely got into the end zone over the left side. It was 17-7. In the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh drove 51 yards, 11 plays, scoring on the 11-yard pass to Stallworth, far side of the end zone. Went over and out, caught it. Roy Girella added the point. It was 24-7. Individual running figures tonight. Blyer, 11 carries, 54 yards. Thornton, 6 carries, 28 yards. Franco, 12 carries, 61 yards before they decided to pull him out in lieu of that pinched nerve in the shoulder. And Rick Moser, the rookie, 14 carries, 62 yards. Steelers had 5 fumbles, lost 3. Steelers penalized 102 yards on a total of 13 calls. San Francisco had 1 call against it for 5 yards. And the 49ers had no fumbles whatsoever in the ball game. Steelers are now assured of a playoff berth. Their record now moves to 11-2. San Francisco drops off to 1-12. And Pittsburgh goes into the short work week before the game at Houston next Sunday against the Oilers. The Oilers remain 2 games behind the Steelers in the AFC Central. We'll be on the air at 3:30 with that broadcast live from the Astrodome. Luke Kreck working in the booth. Our producer, Tom Leslie. Our director, Tom Leslie. And on a fine night in San Francisco, a perfect night for football, the Steelers defeat the 49ers by a final count of 24-7. I'm Jack Flemming at Candlestick Park. Bob Koppler is next with Pro Football Report on the Steelers Football Network.